Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Litter Media Live. And we have not talked about this for a week or so, but back on Facebook Live. We were gone for a couple of months, but back live on Facebook.
But not today.
Yeah.
This will be a YouTube exclusive.
A YouTube exclusive.
Because it's Litter Media recorded.
But we have a link, right, on Facebook?
Yes.
Yes. So people won't think we deserted them again.
Right. But if you can't tell, we're wearing the same clothes as yesterday because we're recording this on Tuesday.
Yeah, but we're just stinky guys.
Yeah.
You and Dan are on assignment as we're doing this on Wednesday with the OHSAA.
Yes.
Getting a free lunch.
I'm excited.
And listening to the lead announcer for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So maybe they'll bring something back for us. I don't mean food, but maybe some interviews or something like that. Here's the weather for the rest of the week. We've been kind of leading up to this. One more day of some warm weather on this Wednesday, but things cool off for tomorrow, Thursday, and will be that way through the rest of the weekend. I can get into that. Spring and fall are my two favorite times of the year, so when temperatures get down around 80 or a little bit lower, I don't like cold, but a little bit lower than this 90 and feels like 100 stuff, I'm all in. But a little bit of rain will have to come along to help it cool things off Thursday through the end of the week. When we come back, we're talking about what's happening in the world of beneficial news you can use, all ahead on Litter Media Live. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor for the last 4 decades, serving the Scioto Valley and beyond. Not only residential, but commercial. Maybe you've got a construction or a renovation contract coming up. If you're a business, give Accurate a call. If you're a resident and need some of these things taken care of in your home, and maybe you haven't tried Accurate before, you're not satisfied with where you've been, give them a call. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
Tecumseh. Fascinating. Captivating. Mesmerizing. Tecumseh.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Litter Media Live. We hope that you'll check out our website before you tune into the show every day. You can get a sneak peek at what we might be talking about and all the headlines and the news stories that Mike writes and puts on the website for your reading pleasure. This is beneficial news that you can use, people, and you should use it. Starting off our headlines today, we have a look at the Pike County Fair's Wednesday schedule. Today they got the Gilt Show at 3 p.m., the Market Hog Show at 6 p.m., followed by Swine Showmanship, and at the Grandstand at 7 p.m., it's Fast Tracks Racing. So head out to the Pike County Fair for a good time today.
Yesterday, on a special edition of Litter Media Live, we talked with Chillicothe Mayor Luke Feeney, and most of the show was taken with the mayor explaining that toxic plume that's under the former Wherever building and how it might be impacted by the closing of the paper mill.
Several years ago, the EPA communicated with Howmet and said, basically, what happens if these wells stop operating?
Right.
And so Howmet was required to do a study, and not themselves, but a third party did a study and said, in this scenario, the most likely situation is if the wells stop operating, it's possible that the plume could move some. And if it did, the most likely direction is to the southeast. And so now we are faced with the scenario where it is likely, we know the paper mill, Pixel is going to stop operating the paper mill on August 10th. That doesn't necessarily mean that the wells stop operating. Paper production doesn't necessarily mean that the wells stop operating. Right. But Pixel, when they stop operating, they have to meet a process established by the EPA called, and I might not get this exactly right, but essentially it's the cessation of regulated operations. So you have to comply with the EPA and say, we have shut down our operations in such a way that the equipment that was contaminated, if there was any, is removed, and any other contamination that we know of is removed.
So again, the bottom line good news is that it would appear that plume would not affect the city of Chillicothe's drinking water, but if it did move to the southeast, it's always possible that it could get into private wells or things of that nature. Now, again, they don't know that it's going to happen. It's just the worst case scenario. Of course, when we think of that, we always go to the extreme sometimes. So it's a lot of wait and see, but hopefully they're going to be able to keep one of those wells open. Actually, they're going to have one that's dug or drilled over at the former Wherever plant in hopes of keeping that plume in check. But get the full explanation, which I thought the mayor did a tremendous job explaining it on our full interview.
Yes. The Pickaway County Chamber of Commerce's 16th annual night golf outing is scheduled for August the 8th. The rain date is August 15th. Sponsorships, golf team signups, and trivia signup is now live, so check that out.
Tri-County Trail's 30th annual cookie ride is coming up August the 23rd. Now, you can start any time between 8 a.m. and noon, but the beginning and the ending of your tour, however far you're going to go and whatever route you're going to take, all takes place at Brad Lytle Park in Frankfort. You have a choice of going on a 14, 30, 36, 50, or 62-mile route on your bike ride. This is a bike ride donation only, but they'll have some goodies when you get done with the ride, when you come back, treats, cookies, things of that nature there at Brad Lytle Park, but it's all to raise money for maintenance work there on the bike trail, which when I think back over the years of how far this has come from just the concept of a bike trail and where it is now, job well done for all of those who many, many years ago, 30 in fact, came up with this concept. And it's, even this morning, I was just kind of standing out on the back patio of my house. The trail runs right by our house. And I heard this whirling noise, and I turned around, and it was one of those folks riding one of those motorized bicycles, zipping down through there. Of course, the real riders that take this real serious, they've got the riding suits on and the whole bit. They go just about as fast, only they're pedaling the whole way. So give that a shot on August the 23rd.
If you can't make it to the Glow Walk on September 6th in Fayette County, you can still be a light in the dark. Support suicide prevention in Fayette County by grabbing a 988 t-shirt. Every shirt sold helps fund the work of a community of hope, the Fayette County Suicide Prevention Coalition. These shirts are only $25, and proceeds go directly to the cause for awareness, education, and support. You can find order information on their social media sites. Learn more about the walk by visiting Fayette County Suicide Prevention Coalition.
Save the dates for the Harvest Celebration 2025. That's going to be September 13th and 14th over in Baltimore, Ohio, in Fairfield County. This year's event will see old favorites like rope making, candle dipping, pumpkin painting, crop harvesting by the Fairfield County Antique Tractor Club members, plus new activities and demonstrations. This all takes place at Smeck Park at 7395 Basil Road in Baltimore, Ohio.
Jefferson Avenue CCCU will host a car show September 20th from noon to 3 p.m. And the proceeds for this are going to go to the Community Thanksgiving Dinner.
Our road report is State Route 762 pavement repairs in Pickaway County. That's between US 23 and Asheville Pike. They have various lane restrictions through this fall for pavement repairs. Two-way traffic will be maintained via flaggers. A brief look at sports is ahead here on Litter Media Live.
But first, we want to tell you about Hometown Motors' Skag clearance sale, which is going on right now. These prices are so low, you're going to think they've lost their minds out there. You can choose from a wide selection of Skag mowing equipment, but you'd better hurry because once clearance inventory is gone, it's gone, and the low prices with them. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Do yourself a favor and call Hometown Motors Incorporated at 740-773-8826 for more information. Hometown Motors Incorporated, your store for the great outdoors.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance, on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Pain was interfering with Tiffany's active lifestyle. Same-day hip replacement at the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute got her back to the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
All right, just a brief look at sports. Chillicothe Paints in action at Champion City tonight. The Reds wrap up their series with the Dodgers this evening in Cincinnati, and the Guardians are taking on the Rockies. And let's see, Friday, 2 more days before the rest of the high school fall sports season gets underway, not necessarily in competition, but in practice. Football, volleyball, golf already got started on Monday this week. Cross country, all that stuff will get started on Monday. So moms and dads, you got to get your kids back to practice again starting on Friday if they're in high school sports.
It's nice that they'll have cooler weather for 2 days.
That is exactly right. That is exactly right, because we are getting that cooler weather. Also, tomorrow, Thursday, is the Petland Pet of the Week. Still time to put a nomination in?
Yes.
How do you
still
do that?
time. You can submit a nomination by emailing us at littermedia@gmail.com. Send us a photo of your pet and some information about it, maybe how long you've had it, how old it is, some fun facts, what they like to do, stuff like that.
All right. And again, that's coming up on the show tomorrow. When we come back, we'll wrap up with this date in history. Yesterday, we were in 1958, 1956 for this date in history today, ahead on Litter Media Live.
But first, we want to tell you about Litter Quality Propane, online all the time. Customer payment, account information, and more. Log on at litterpropane.com.
Wherever you are there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
Uh, 1956, 2 years after pushing to have the phrase "under God" inserted into the Pledge of Allegiance, President Eisenhower signs a law officially declaring "In God We Trust" to be on the nation's actually official motto. Now, the law also mandated that the phrase be printed on all American paper currency. The phrase has been placed on U.S. coins since the Civil War. Eisenhower's Treasury Secretary, George Humphrey, had suggesting added to the phrase to paper currency. Now, this is George Washington after a night of heavy drinking. This is the one print for the coin that did not actually make it through the mint. "In God We Trust." So that's George Washington. The George Washington you never had a chance to see.
And this is another classic Mike Smith artistic render.
You think, well, wait a minute, that might have been Martha Washington. I don't know. But "In God We Trust" became our official motto on this date in 1956.
What's going on with his nose there?
He
looks like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, either that or a bad ear, a bad ear infection or something like that. Yeah, so much for Mike's artistic. That's why Dan and Aaron usually do all of the artwork, because Mike cannot draw. That's going to cover it for our Thursday show. Dan should be back Wednesday, I should say. Dan should be back with us on Thursday. We do have a Friday show. I think we do have a special edition. Let's see, is that Thursday? Yes. Tiffany Baldwin will be with us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Dan will have that interview with Tiffany downtown. They're probably starting to talk about the sand tournament.
Streets,
yeah, sand in the streets. That's coming up before you know it. In fact, I talked to some young ladies the other day that are playing in that, and there's prize money, but it doesn't. I don't think it goes necessarily to the individuals. It goes to whatever program that they want to donate it to, whoever they win.
I see.
So now I think they did have a pro division last year. I don't know if they're doing that again or not, but that's what Tiffany's coming in here for tomorrow to explain all that at 10 o'clock. Until that time, for Aaron Glandon, this is Mike Smith, and for Dan Ramey saying so long from all of us at Litter Media.